Awesome.
Here we go. It's done. Hi.
Beautiful. Hi.
How's everyone?
Hi, Angel. And hi, Angel.
Here we are again on our live.
Yes, I'm excited.
So
I'm getting excited right now, actually. Like
I like
at
that.
this very moment, I can feel the excitement.
Me too. I feel you
Yeah.
getting excited. I'm getting excited too. So we have a
Yeah.
little confession. If anybody remembers or watched our live last week, we talked about when you don't feel like it, but you do it anyways. And oftentimes it ends up being great. And we were just talking with Kirsty. We were like, Kirsty was like, I'm so tired. And I'm like, I look so tired. And we're like, don't want to feel like it, but you know what? We're gonna do it anyways.
Yes. Yes. And, we're going to talk about the thing that we may not be feeling so much right now. But hey, as we talk about it, we're going to start feeling because I'm already feeling it
Oh,
now
I'm
as
feeling
I'm
it. I'm
tuning my
totally,
attention
I'm
to the
totally.
joy.
So
Joy.
I actually wanted to say we're not just choosing to do it anyways, but I personally am choosing to do that from a place of joy and with joy because I choose so.
I love it.
And
I
I'm
love that. Yeah. Uh, yeah. You want to lead us into this, or do you want, I have something bubbling up.
go for it.
Yeah, so this is it's a beautiful subject to me. I've been really kind of waking up to it lately because I've been at this job for 4 months now, where I literally go in and I play 4 hours with one child, and then I play 3 hours with another child.
Sounds like
And
a
it's
terrible
not
job
just,
to me.
huh?
Sounds like a terrible job to me.
It's an amazing job, girl, because there's a structure, but within that structure, I I just get to play. And it has increased my joy so much because children are authentically in this very present moment,
Mhm.
and they love to play. I mean, if a child gets to play, ooh, what a happy child. You know, they get to play, they're fed, they go to sleep. They're taken care of, their hygiene is taken care of. That's all a child needs because child's play is work. So when we tap into that beautiful authenticity of a child, and they're so there and they're checking into you, that are you there? Because they already have experiences of adults who cannot be there. They cannot enter into their joy fully. And and that's all they want to do, just have fun.
Mm.
And I've noticed that this is a huge shift that has happened because of this. So this job is actually helping me to really tap into joy every single day. And remember that, what is the name of the I can't remember. Maybe you remember. Maybe we can even pull it up if you have it. You used to have it in the face of your phone. The emotional frequencies. Yeah, maybe we can even
Yeah,
put that, because joy is,
love
where is the joy?
that. Oof. Let me see if I definitely I think I even maybe have that on my desktop or somewhere. I'll find that. But yeah, if you want to keep talking for a minute so that I can pull that up
Yeah.
somewhere. Oh,
So
here,
we
I have it right.
have the frequencies of our emotions. So lower frequencies are uh despair, sadness, anger, frustration, worry, and then it starts
Yeah.
coming. There it is. Awesome. And
So it's right
guilt,
here.
yeah, guilt, shame. Shame and guilt are the lowest ones. Shame wants to hide. So that's the lowest one. We got shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy. Joy is the third one from top.
Yeah.
Then we have peace and enlightenment. So joy goes even beyond love. That is insane. I haven't even looked at that. And I am telling you, like, this is such a beautiful revelation
Oh my
because,
goodness. I've never thought of that either. Wow.
yes. And this is so I'm a parenting coach as as well as a life coach. But I right now in my Instagram account, I'm talking about playing with children and having fun and tapping into the joy. And it is such an expansion if we really do that. And I'm dedicating this whole week for that. And I was a couple of days ago preparing some posts, and I realized that in the Bible it says that if you become like a child, yours is the kingdom of God. And so the child is just there in that present moment, and they're carefree. They're very trusting, if there's not, already entered huge traumas and stuff in their lives. So in a way, children are there to help us to tap into what we get to become.
Mm.
That joyful, that carefree, that trusting human being. Yeah. So this is what I've been thinking about, girl. And I just see that how that expansion is starting to work. Tapping into joy and choosing the joy. Like how do you choose joy? Now, to me, it's my job. I get to choose joy every day because of these kids. I don't even need to think about it.
Would
And
you say that? Yeah, no, go on.
no, I was going to say that, it's a clinic where there's autistic, I don't like labels, but nevertheless, there's children on the spectrum. There's children who just don't fit the box. You know, they just can't sit still in a classroom that is dead anyway. They can't. They're too bubbly. They're too expressive. They feel too much,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, I feel like you're talking about me.
Well, hey, there
You're
you
just talking about
go.
humans, hey? You're just talking about, I mean, honestly, that's what I'm sort of feeling into. It's like, that's just humans. Like, it's just, we're all trying to make ourselves squeeze into a box and not like be too much on the outside of the box and not be like too much. Like we need to be just the right amount that fits into that box and no more. And if you're too bubbly, like even if you're not too much in an amount, like you might just pop out because you're too bubbly. Like just be still and and it's like it's just being human, really. Like we're all just big children and like that's just our nature and we're just here to be vibrant and move around and it's like the only constant in life is the constant change, right? And the constant process and like that energy, that constant flow of life that it's like just wants to keep expressing itself and chances
Mm.
are it wants to keep expressing itself in different ways and not just in that one boxed way, which is every the same thing. Like yeah, anyway, keep going. I like that.
Yeah. So I just, so I've read Bible a lot and I agree with a lot of things. I'm not into religion, so I do refer a lot of things because I have actually lived it and embodied and experienced these things and I
Mhm.
have a perspective. So also in the Bible says that the joy is your strength. So joy being this expansive, if we look at this tetra right here, joy being after love, it's so expansive.
That's the
You're
word here.
really, yeah, so you're
Yeah.
really getting nourished. Your soul, your mind, your whole system is getting nourished. So think when you get triggered by something, which is a good thing because it just highlights something. Maybe it highlights a shame from your life that has been hiding. So
Which is
you're
what
now
shame
just
does, right? It's like, no, no, no,
right,
can't be
right.
seen.
So now you're just having a whole bunch of fun, authentic fun. We're not talking about drug fun or alcohol fun. We're talking about like authentically connecting with the present moment and really being joyous and we can get into that later, but now you have like a in the bank you have this beautiful expansive energy.
You have all these balloons. Look at all this joy. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
background like Zoom just does these things. I don't know. It's just
Oh,
balloons.
oh, I didn't even see myself. Okay, it's doing that.
Very colorful. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, yeah. So then we have the trigger comes or the highlight, whatever we call it, and it's of shame or guilt or whatever it is. And then we can tap into like our system. We don't need to think about, oh, I'm going to tap into that joy right now. No, your system automatically gets nourished of that joy, that energy that you have invited into your life, that you have been experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can go up to the mountain, and be joyous and peaceful and enlightened and have love and have these beautiful moments like you were in Switzerland. And then you can come down to the valley and go through some little things that you need to still work on and that get highlighted. And then you go up on that mountain again of that joy.
You just
And
have that overview from up there.
yes, it's very expansive.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I just want to give a
Hmm.
little bit of context for this image. So it comes from a book, Power versus Force. I need to say, I actually never read that book. And I had this as my screensaver on both my phone and my computer for like the longest time, like for like years. And when I used to work with a coach, like my coach, every session he would pull this up and be like, let's look at this for a second. I'm like, ugh, are you doing this thing again? Like, okay, yeah. And it's like, okay, you got me. He's like, let's see what energy you're acting from. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you got me. You're right. Yeah. He's like, if we're over here, then you're contracted and you're creating more of contraction. And if you're acting from a place up here above this line, like then we're in an expanded state. And then you're like inviting more like expansion and more of all these emotions and those states that are above this expansion line. So where are we acting from? And I'm like, okay. And at some point I was like, hey, listen, like, look, I thought you'd be very happy. I made it my screensaver because like you remind me all the time. So like I thought I'm gonna make it easier on you. And he was like, I love it. And since then, like sometimes people see my phone or my laptop and it's like, oh my God, love it. Yeah, Power versus Force, you read that? That's great. I'm like, I have no idea where this is from. I just love it. So, but now I know. So, like, credits given where they're due if you want to read the book. I don't know what it's
Mm,
about, but I'm sure it's great because this is amazing. Um, but yeah, so just so people have a little bit of context, like this is like for me, this is so important that I made it my screensavers on both of my devices because it's like that constant reminder. It's like what am I doing? Like if whatever I'm doing outside in the world, or like not even doing, just like whatever I'm thinking of doing, it's like whenever I don't know what to do, I ask myself like, why would I want to do it, or why would I not want to do it? Like if I want to do A, or like, if I want to talk to this person or not talk to this person, like if I want to talk to them, why do I want to do it? Like what energy on this scale am I going to do it from? And if I don't want to do it, like what energy on this scale am I going to do it from? Like maybe I'm going to talk to them because it's like my pride or my anger. Well, like maybe I get to sit with that a little bit and see what it is. And maybe, or like maybe I don't want to talk to them because of shame or guilt. Well, then maybe I should actually talk to them because I'm just trying to hide because of that shame and guilt. And that, as you can see, like here, it's like the lowest emotion that there is, right? So it's like you're really stuck in suffering. And like if you keep acting from that suffering, like you're just going to create more suffering. And so here, I think we're getting to sort of the topic that we wanted to we wanted to bring through today. It's that like I know that might sound crazy, and I know it might be really difficult to do, but actually, we all have the option to choose. Like, we have the option to choose joy, we have the option to choose suffering, we have the option to choose, like getting by. Like, we have the option every single time. Like, we get to make a choice. And for me, that's something like, for me, this is a massive, massive, massive revelation that I've had. Like I've heard this before, but it never landed with me. And as people will maybe know, if you've listened to my podcast or some of the lives I did before, I went and had some plant medicine at the end of October. So that was like 4 months ago. And what came through for me, like this was like the main message of the whole week that I spent there drinking medicine for me personally, was like being so clear, like getting that message so clearly. Like I saw that, I heard that, I knew that, like suffering is a choice,
Hmm.
and pleasure, joy, and freedom is also a choice. And what came through so like personally for me was that this is my like really my main intention for that whole week was to like get clarity on what my purpose is, and what my like what's the best way to live it and embody it and act it out in this lifetime. And what came through was like, your purpose is to live your joy, live your pleasure, and live your freedom. And then if you truly live that and truly embody that, then it's like a continuation of your purpose to like help others, teach them how to do the same. But how do you best do that? Well, you best do that by first and foremost focusing on your own joy and your own pleasure and your own freedom, and embodying that as much as you can. So you following your own pleasure and joy, that's how you can teach others. And so for me, like that was, it was, and the message just came through so strongly that it's like right now, it's like whenever I see myself, like for example, I've talked about this on the lives before as well, like I have so much like chronic tension in my jaw and my neck, and sometimes it gives me migraines. Like I would wake up and I can barely, like, I'm a super flexible person, but some days I wake up like I can barely like move my body because I'm just so tense and like in so much pain. And like I want to exercise because I know the movement is going to help me relieve the tension, but honestly, like it's just so painful. Like I feel like I can barely move. So like it's so painful to like go and do this exercise. And so I like caught myself, as soon as like, weeks after the medicine experience, I would be like walking around, and I was traveling. I was in Cartagena, which is like this, fun place on the Caribbean coast. And so I was on holidays, right? And I'm like walking around, and I like see myself sliding, like I want to slide into that pattern. I'm like, oh my God, I woke up with all this tension and this pain. Like, oh, it's gonna be a horrible day. I'm just gonna suffer. Like, woe is me. Like, I'm back in this, like I'm stuck in this pain and this tension. And I was like, whoa, what are we doing? Like, we have a choice. Like, is this how you choose your day to go, Claire? Like, yeah, like there's some tension and there's some pain and there's some discomfort. Like, it's not pleasant. I'm not gonna lie about that. But with that being present, I can choose to suffer and have that story for the rest of my day and complain to everybody I meet and be like, woe is me, like I'm suffering so much, I have this tension and it's not going away. Or I can accept that this is how I'm feeling right now and still choose joy and still choose pleasure. And I was like, this is my purpose. Like I'm here to live pleasure and joy and freedom. And so this is what I'm going to choose today, because this is what I choose to do, because I know struggling and suffering is a choice, and I know pleasure and joy is a choice. And so I choose that. And then I had a great day. I was like, here. And it was like that. And since then, it's like, I just know. It's like every time I'm like, oh boy, like this is gonna be so difficult, and this is gonna be, it's gonna be so much work, and like I don't even, and I'm like, no, it's not, because I didn't choose it. Like it's fine. Like it's okay. Like I just get to receive and have it easy, or like, maybe not easy, but like sometimes it's like things actually get to be easy. But like even if they're work, like I enjoy the work. I am in joy in the work. Like Kirsi, right? Like Kirsi, and tell us, like, I hope it's okay to share, like Kirsi also does other things, like she drives, like you drive Uber, and like I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't enjoy that, but like you love that, and like you just have the best people in your car every time, and like they give you shit. They're like, here's $20 like of tips, and you're like, who tips $20, right? And it's like, here's like tickets to this like theater show. I think you're muted. No. Yeah, I can't hear you. Keep talking. Oh, now you're muted. Okay, keep talking. I can't hear you. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. I can't hear you. Well, no. Yeah, try that. Yeah, try that. Do that. Yeah. So she's gonna leave and come back. So yeah, I really got that message. Like you can choose it. And 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 I'm sure many of you may have heard that before, and I've heard it many times, but I just heard it somewhere yesterday again. This thing where it's like you go to a hospital, and there's like a sign which says pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice.
Oh, can
And
you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Okay.
I was just saying there's this saying which is pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice.
Hmm.
And it
Exactly.
is like it's like,
Yes.
I can have pain in my arm, and I can still be in joy, and I can enjoy myself. And I'm sure a lot of people do that. Like, so many people live with so much like chronic pain, and they still have beautiful lives, right? Like, or it's like there's like how many, like it's a normal part of life that there's like loss and death and grief, and like, who doesn't have some level of grief in their lives that's like a constant. And like, does that mean that if you have grief you're never going to be happy again? Like you're never going to laugh and enjoy yourself? Like of course it doesn't. And it doesn't mean that the grief is going to go away, but like you can have grief and you can be in joy.
Hmm. Yes, and I believe that there is this courage that we get to have to experience those lower frequency emotions. And that courage comes from the expansion. It comes from those experiences that are actually of love and joy and acceptance and peace and all of these things. We get the strength from there and courage. And when we start noticing that, oh, it's just the flow, it's just the flow to dip into the lower frequency emotions, and then I'll come back again. It's like a wave, and you actually start enjoying all
That
of that. Yes, because it's in the end of the day, it's a human experience. And human experience, we have been conditioned to think good and bad, but it is just experience. It is an experience. So it's not neither good, it's not neither bad. It's an experience. And all of these things work together for our good. Like the joy works for our good, but so does the emotions of shame and guilt and all of that, because it taps into something that is there already. If we turn away from that, we're going to oppress that and suppress our experience, which is already there.
Yeah.
So,
And then you're just in denial. Like that's not joy. Like if you're just in denial, like it's are you really like that's not authentic joy, right? That's just
right, right,
pretend.
exactly. And
It's like when you're depressed and you go for it, I mean, I don't want, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not judging anybody here, but it's like if you're really, really like depressed and then you go for a night of drinking because you want to just feel like happiness, and like that, that like excitement for that one night and like you just want to forget about, all your problems. So like you go and like, is that joy? Like when you're really drunk and you're just like is that, I mean, it's enjoyment, but like is that joy? Like is that pure? And how are you going to feel the next day, right? So that's like how, it's going to sort of juice you out even more because you're sort of like exhausting yourself when you're really like, like squeezing out that like enjoyment that is not really there. You're like squeezing it out of nowhere. And then the next day you feel even like less energetic and even more depressed because you like squeezed something out that wasn't even there and you just ignored what
yeah,
was there, right? I mean, I personally think that's kind of what happens, but everybody has their own experience. And again, I don't want to like judge anybody or like impose my own view of things on other people. But yeah, just
Claire, I'm gonna step out for just a moment. I need to go tell Bella something.
okay.
Her dad is trying to call, so I'll be right
Right.
back, okay?
Yeah. So I think that's really something to sort of feel into. It's like, am I, like what Christy was talking about. It's like there's like to give yourself that permission slip to like not pretend that you're happy when
Bella,
you're not, but it's like being with I think that's sort of like the most important thing is like to just be honest with yourself and not not like try to put a band-aid or some on something and like pretend that you're happy. And there's also a lot of people say that there's like a difference between happiness and joy because like you can't really be happy all the time. Like, yeah, you're gonna be sad and you're gonna be in pain and maybe you're not gonna feel exactly happy, but I do believe that you can be in joy as you do that, as you can actually enjoy the process of feeling pain. And there's a lot of people who like share about their experiences where they're like the deeper you go into the pain and you just really sort of present with it and you just sort of like really there for it, it's like, okay, like I'm feeling pain, but I can choose to suffer, or I can choose to be in peace about it, and I can choose to suppress it and pretend like it's not there and take a painkiller or just be like, or I can really go deep into it. And it's sort of like the deeper you go into it, the the more you can sort of just be neutral about it. And then it's like eventually it's like that intense sensation and this is really what we're here for. Like, we're really here to just feel alive. So, like, we're really here to just feel. And so, like, and most people get like become numb because and they're sad that they can't experience love and joy and all these beautiful things. Well, it's because because they prefer to get numb because they don't want to feel the things on the lower scale. Like they don't want to feel the anger and the sadness and the frustration and the fear. So they just learn to become numb. Like it's actually also a choice, right? And I get that. Like it takes a person to be able to feel that intensity of the emotions on both scales actually. And ironically, it's not just the difficult feelings that sometimes can be very challenging to hold. Like I've experienced that. Like when I was on that plant medicine journey, I had one day where I was just feeling ecstatic bliss and pleasure, like orgasmic, like pleasure in my body. Like I was just like shaking with like so much just like joy and bliss and just like ecstasy. I was like, this is too much. I can't hold it. Like literally, my body doesn't know what to do with this. Like I'm gonna go insane. Like it's too much. Like I can't. Like and like for 4 hours, 4 hours, it was just like this is too much. Somebody make it stop. I can't do this. I can't, like, I can't, like, it's impossible. Like, I had never experienced anything like this. It was too much, right? And that was the practice. Like, it was so challenging. It was so challenging. It's like I literally couldn't hold it because like it was too much. I was not used to that. Like you need to start expanding your containers, like your energetic container. Like how much can you hold? How much can you feel? How much intensity can you be with, right? Yeah. I can't hear you again. I think you're keep talking. I don't know. I can't hear you. You're not muted, but I can't hear you. Yeah, maybe no, I can't. Just exit and come back again. I'll just keep blabbering on about intensity. Yeah, what I find is that yeah, do you want to exit and come back? Yeah. Um, what I find is that once you learn how to embrace these emotions and like especially like the you know like the more you sort of allow yourself to go into these more and more like intense sensations. Here you are. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I have this new mic. Obviously, I don't know how to use it. So I think when I went in and out, something happened, and who knows what happened before that. So, anyways, yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love that, this whole conversation has just expanded to the whole scale of emotions, not just the joy. Because, like you were saying, you know, if you cannot, if I believe that to the extent that you can experience your whole self, your whole emotions, from that lower scale, you're able to then hold space in those higher emotions. And that to me is authenticity, you know. Um just and sometimes it looks like something, like when we are on the ride of our emotions, it may look like something. To me, a couple of weeks ago, I looked like I made a reel of me. I just dumped all my clean clothes on the floor and I made a reel of that, just folding them up. Like I just like, because to me that moment was freedom. Freedom to be who I am and freedom to come out and be open about it, you know for somebody and I'm not dissing this, but this just another contrast to it. For somebody, it's dancing on the tables when they're drunk in a club. That's their experience of freedom.
I love that.
Yeah.
One of the
And
things
you
that I
can do
love.
that too. And it's not dissing it. I'm just like, but that is a human experience.
Yeah.
We all want to feel free.
Mhm.
And we look for that in different ways, and wherever we are. And so we have been coached a lot on these emotions. Like we had the same coach, Kevin. So Kevin showed that thing to us. Same thing here with me, And I used to was like, I don't want to see that. Okay, I'm angry. I don't want to be there. But the point of that was that you don't need to deny any of that. You can authentically be there and receive the support from another person for you to be there. If you are angry, then you're angry. If you feel guilty, then you feel guilty and you open it up and you talk about it and you get supported. And that's where that courage is, to open yourself up no matter where you are on that scale.
Yeah.
And choosing, if we talk about, how can you choose joy? So I just, we talk about awareness. And the more aware, like that's a beautiful tool. I think we all should have that on top on the screensaver of our phone. We all should be reminded of that. Because the question that has, for example, helped me a lot is that what is the quality of energy behind the action?
Yeah.
So, and you can even go, what is the quality of energy of this thought that I'm having right now? And is it something that I want to change into something else? Like my granddaughter, she a lot of times she can't get something. Then next thing is going to be even worse with, well, you know, you can't get this toy right now. Well, I'm never going to get it. I'm never going to be able to get anything. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's a thought that goes into the same energy, but expand, like it's even more. It's 10 times more. Now you're never going to get anything. First, it was this little toy, and now it's never. That's what we do. We do the same thing. I do the same thing. I
Yeah.
feel bad one morning, I wake up, and then I feel like, oh, well, maybe I should just stop this life altogether, you
Mm.
know? And that's how we feed that same energy. And the more we feed it, the more we feel it. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. But we can choose. We can choose different. So the more we have knowledge of all of this, what is actually our system, what are emotions, how does our protective mechanisms work, what are the stories, and the main thing about it is that every one of us have the same thing going on. None of us is different. Every one of us. So the moment we come into those lower frequency things and we start thinking, oh, okay, so I'm never going to get anything. Next thing is, I'm the only person in this whole world who's never going to get anything. And then there we
Everybody
go.
else is doing this, but I can never get it right because
Yes,
this and that and this and that.
right.
Yeah.
And so then it feels really dense.
Yeah.
And but that's simply not true, because everybody is on that scale and we get to choose. Okay, if I am angry right now, I can choose to forgive, whether it's myself or somebody else. And when I forgive, I come on that scale up again towards love, and I start getting expanded.
And yeah. And there's different things, right? It's like I'm angry and maybe I can't, maybe I want to forgive, but I can. So maybe I'm like, another thing you can do is like, I'm gonna choose to work with my anger and not at least like, I'm gonna work with my anger. Because I think for a vast majority of people, like we can't, we like I'm not saying it's not possible, but like I'm not at place yet where I can just be like, oh, I'm just gonna choose not to be angry right now, right? Like I'm just gonna choose to forgive right now. And I'm like, right? But it's like what we can do, we can choose not to go out into the world and create things from that energy, because the energy behind the action, like Chrissy said, sources like the quality of the energy that we're going to create, like the quality of the result. And like what we put out is what we get back. So like, it's constantly like a feedback loop, right? So it's like, okay, if I know that I'm angry right now, well, I'm not gonna go and respond to that person from that energy. Like if I'm angry, like I'm gonna do something about my anger first. And if I can, maybe I'm gonna go and scream into some pillows and smash some pillows, or like go, for a run, go for some exercise, or like just do something like go dance, like or something to just like
Hmm.
process that energy a little bit. And then once I do that, like then I can see if I can calm down. And once I calm down, maybe then I want to sit down and then be like, okay, like if I really need to talk to this person, maybe you don't need to talk to this person, right? So then don't do it. But if you really need to talk to this person, like try to do something about that first so that you can really like mainly just do it for yourself, really. It's like so do it for yourself so that you be like, do I really want to be that person who like takes their anger and then like in that point where we're angry, like we think we're so like we think we're right to be angry. But pretty much everybody thinks they're right to be angry when they're angry, right? So like and but like once you cool down, like maybe you're gonna change your mind, but like actually I wasn't right to be angry, right? So it's like, do you really want to be that person who like goes out with their own personal anger when we don't know if we're right or not to be angry and goes and like vents that anger on somebody else? Or do you want to be that person who's like, I took my time, I made sure that I did everything I could on my own side to take care of the situation and deal with it, as correctly as I could, and then go out and create results and, create action and like, like interact with people and send energy that way.
Yes, absolutely. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have a choice. And this is something really important to teach our children because our children experience being lost in their emotions. And and when we start guiding them into that opportunity to actually start choosing their thoughts first of all,
Hmm.
which then produces emotions. So if I think right, I'm going to feel right.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes, we kind of say, okay, well, just feel everything in your body and forget about your mind, meditate and don't be in your mind. But our mind is actually a treasure in guiding us away from our emotions that are not producing life to us. Okay, so we can be too emotional, and then in we can start bringing our reason to guide us away from emotions that kind of start drowning us, like for example these reels, that people are making and building their business. We can get really emotional about them, but you know what, in the end of the day, all of us are here learning to communicate. And how are you going to learn to communicate? You're going to learn to communicate by communicating. So taking your emotions away from that is going to help you to just go ahead and do it. And then that's going to lighten up the whole load. Does that make sense?
I
So
think
kind
so.
of bringing the reason, bringing your mind's rational brain to it, like, okay, I'm a human being having a human experience. So is everybody else out there. So just have it. Just live it.
Just live it.
Just
Just do
live
it.
it.
Say it.
Yes.
And sometimes, believe me or not, like it can be the scariest thing in the world. And if you do it because you feel that conviction that that's your truth, it can create some magic.
From that limbic system. We talked about that last time. If you didn't hear our last podcast, wow. Yeah, just go and listen to it.
It's pretty good.
It was pretty good. Yeah. It was helpful to me. That's what I can
I
say.
know, right? I was like, man, that's so true. And I was telling my friends and like I was gonna go and do something and then I really wasn't feeling it. I was exhausted and I was just like, I'm not and my friend and I was like, oh, I can't not do it now because I just did this live right now that I was gonna do something, so now I have to go. And then I was talking to my flatmate the next day and I was like, yeah, I'm still deciding. Like, I don't want to show up on that call. And she's like, didn't you say something about not feeling like, and I was like, ugh, I'm gonna do it. Okay. She's like, just do it anyways. I'm like, I'm gonna do it anyways. It's fine. And then,
I love it.
I was glad I did.
Accountability.
It wasn't comfortable, but like, I'm glad I did it. I did it anyways. And yeah, like today we chose to show up here with joy, and honestly, I'm enjoying this so much. And it's like, are there parts of me that are like, we totally didn't like, like write a script, like we're just circling back and forth between a million different topics, and like it could be so much better or different, and my lighting could be better, and like we have microphone issues and yada yada. And it's like, I don't care. Like, it's like, I'm enjoying this. I'm
Hey.
enjoying, because we decided to come here and choose joy. So that's all that, like, honestly, these days, that's all that matters to me. It's like, I know that if I'm in joy, then eventually other people will be inspired to be in joy. And it's like, if I
Hmm.
show up here and I'm in joy, and you're not overjoyed about our microphones not being ideal, or whatever, like my lighting being this or that, I'm still in joy. Can you be? Can you be inspired by my joy?
Yes.
If not, that's
I
okay. I'm in joy.
I love it. I love it. Hold up. Hmm.
You're gonna
Wait.
go and
These people are trying to call me. That's the
well, it's okay. I can let you go and call them, and I'm just gonna sit with my joy by myself.
yeah. I love this. I love that I just, yeah, it is what it is, just live it. Just live it. I think it's just in a nutshell, all of this. I'm getting so much out of this. I am
See, we don't
in
we don't even have to do any topics anymore. We just show up here, just like another episode of Just Live It. You know what? That's all we have to say. Just
just
live.
live hello. That's what I'm talking about. Freedom.
Hands off, friends.
Yes. And we can still give our friends a title, we can still give it if we can't
If we
come
so
up with if we
choose.
can't come up with it, then we can say, hey, let's all figure out what we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
Let's just show up in the space and see what drops down.
I love it.
That's
I
yeah,
love
I
it.
love
I
it.
live it.
I love it. I love you, Claire. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. This was amazing. Thank you, all of our listeners. I hope you got value out of this and you can choose that joy and take a screenshot of that thing, or maybe Claire can put a link
sure.
to the comment box over there where everybody can get that on their phones.
Love it. I love you.
Yay. All
Bye,
right.
everyone. Thank you, Kirsi.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.